Chase Wright. On deck is Elizabeth Johnson.
Hello, good morning, guys. First, I want to take the time to thank our city council. I want to thank Natasha Harper-Madison's office for helping us out with resources, bringing EMS host team out, bringing resources to my community. My name is Chase Wright, and I'm the president. We are a nonprofit. We are engaging with ECHO, Integral Care, anybody who's involved with the solution of ending homeless crisis here in Austin, we are involved with them. I'm actually here today to speak in reference to the development of the NHP. We would like anyone who is trying to build affordable homes for our unhoused residents to get off the streets. We are in favor of them. If they are allowing nonprofits to move in space, nonprofits, is no secret, are the ones who are, let's say, boots on the ground, actually out in the field helping these individuals. I work with over 170 clients, and they all need housing at this point. So to be here speaking if we are in favor of the NHP or not, it's kind of, at this point, I would also like to mention that we don't have questions for the California, Alchemy, but we do ask that they give the Arch employees an opportunity to engage with them as well so that they're not displaced for work, because they are boots on the ground as well. It's no secret that the Arch problem started outside. It wasn't too much inside. Let's give those employees a chance. Thank you.
Mayor? Hey, Chase, would you mind? I'm gonna do two things. I'm gonna volunteer you to tell these people about what it is that y'all do, but then I'm gonna offer you a little bit of shine. I know you're not that kind of brother that really does it for the shine, but I wanna talk to y'all about what community looks like. We've had that conversation sort of briefly this morning. So we had a shack problem in my community. The truth of the matter is every district has a shack. It's the stop and shop, it's the pop in and go, it's the gas station where people congregate. It's the one where they've been doing it for years. Not right, not wrong, just is, right? Old school Austinites who've been congregating at spots for years. And as the community grows and changes around them and people sort of flock to what's familiar, people have been flocking to the shack, much to the dismay of new neighbors who spent $500,000 on their house and what they considered an up-and-coming neighborhood, didn't anticipate that they would have to deal with the original inhabitants. So this is a story of how a community decided that they were gonna work together and that old neighbors, new neighbors were gonna just work towards making this a complete community. I've never seen anything like it personally. So Chase and another neighbor, they get together. And so instead of saying, we're gonna help to address a problem in our community, they started an organization. And they started talking to the people who were the problem, right? Oftentimes when we talk about blight, we're not talking about conditions, we're talking about humans. And so the humans who were taking issue with the humans that were providing unsightly conditions were addressed by these two neighbors that got together, you and Anthony got together, and said, how do we do this? So they filled the shed full of tools, and they do a tool share. Guess what doesn't get stolen anymore so people can make a couple dollars? Nobody's shed is getting broken into and their weed whacker getting stolen because they have a tool share operation in this community now. There's a resource share for healthcare access. There's a resource share for food and for water. As a community, we talk about resilience, as a community, these people got together and started an organization that helps to uplift people who've been living in these woods behind this neighborhood for 5 decades. They didn't just get there by way of anything city council did. People in the city of Austin have been living outdoors for decades. So this community got together, these people got together. One of the individuals who helped to start this organization, y'all know, he took out a second mortgage on his house.
Yes.
His money, $40,000+ out of his pocket to address a need in his community. But what happened when he made the commitment was then Chase made the commitment. Absolutely. And then the neighbors, some of whom were not nice to me online, woo, next door is a spot, let me tell you. They didn't say nice things about me on next door, but then they realized how directly connected I was to the cause and the commitment, and then And then we all start working together. And not only did they stop saying yucky things about me online, which, by the way, you get elected, people are going to say awful things about you. You know yourself. You know it's not true. It doesn't really matter that much. But it does help bring a community together when the community can acknowledge that you have a leader who's going to show up for you. And you dragging them every day is not especially nice. And so they got together and did the work and are doing the work. I mean, like, the people who were the maddest are at the table now
Absolutely.
as participants in the process. It's a beautiful thing. But I
Well,
want
we-
you to talk real quick about, so when you show up and you say, I appreciate the work that this organization does, I think saying that you are a member of the Springdale organization didn't offer it the clout and the real world lived experience that you're bringing to the table when you make the assessment about this organization. So if you could just real brief, tell folks what it is that y'all are doing and how they can help your efforts.
Well, to keep it real short, as of now, what we have here, we are engaging with the community. We are involving our new neighbors and engaging them with our unhoused neighbors. I actually had the opportunity to engage with the East MLK contact team, and we kind of explained some of our what we're doing there, which is our system that we're setting up. We offer these individuals work. We offer these individuals an opportunity to eat every day. We offer these individuals opportunity that they receive clothes so that they don't have any barriers or any excuses for them to go out and seek good opportunity so that they don't be unhoused. My only problem now is that we do have new neighbors who are not familiar with the culture in these areas, and we have these individuals here, and they immediately become the opposition. I have over 30 unhoused individuals that have been working for over 4 months. Let's say out of those 30, now 15 of them have homes. They went out to Community First Village and they received housing. So these individuals that you don't think can work their way out of homeless are now lower income earning citizens who are paying their taxes. So at that point, I see that it's a communication barrier. I see that we need to get in the field and we need to all communicate. Kimberly, with the director of Austin Park, she's been out in the field. She's been sent out how we can engage to get these individuals not put in jail, but to put them in homes. It's no secret that they live in some of Austin Parks and Recs like Givens, Springdale Park, all of those different areas, Montopolis. These are places that they create encampments. Encampments are not dangerous. Encampments are places that they are currently living to try to surge Austin's growth. Right now, we're a growing city. We have a lot of high rent, and we don't have a lot of affordable housing. These opportunities for affordable housing will get these individuals out of these places so that you're not considering them a nuisance. I feel that if we all communicate on all levels from the top to the bottom, we can pretty much cure this homeless crisis. And at that point, I just ask anybody that want to engage with my nonprofit, anyone that want to go and see what the problem is and see how we can help, let's fix this. Thank you very much. Thank you, Natasha.
Tough act to follow. So I'm not going to even try. But I did